Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Scott's Selections here for Tuesday, November 12th. Before we get into today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We picked up a tough loss with Towson -2. Unfortunately, we ended up getting a really good number on it. We got it at -2 at DraftKings, ended up closing at -3 market-wide, including the offshore, so we did get a point of value. Unfortunately, they were up 7 with about, more than halfway through the second half. They ended up blowing it. They were up 2 with roughly 14 seconds left. They gave up 3 offensive rebounds and a game-time layup before they eventually lost outright in overtime. So it was a loss. It was pretty tough as they were pushing with about 14 seconds left, and one stop would have led to some free throws. But either or, it didn't end up working out as Kent State ended up dominating the overtime period, and Towson ended up losing outright. So unfortunately, we picked up a loss with college basketball, but we will look to bounce back. Now, in terms of why this video is coming out so early, I actually am going to be traveling tomorrow, so I wanted to get this video out before it was too late, since I won't have any time to do that tomorrow. But in terms of the play of the day, it will be on college basketball in a matchup between the Citadel and Georgia, which will be taking place at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And in terms of this game, with the Citadel involved, I obviously like the over, and that is available at DraftKings at over 164, which is available at -108 on DraftKings. Now, the main reason why I like it is twofold. One, based on the fact that the total opened up at 164. It's already been bet up pretty much entirely in the offshore markets at 164.5, but it is still available at 164 on DraftKings right now. This line will close somewhere above 165. Believe me, this is going to climb a lot. I'd recommend getting on this now, especially for value, as I wouldn't be surprised to see this line close roughly 166, based on the pace of play that both teams have possessed. In terms of the pace, looking at the tempo ratings, Citadel's always at the top. In terms of offensive tempo, the Citadel currently has the second fastest tempo in the entire country at 78.1. Georgia, on the other hand, is ranked 61st at 73.5, so Georgia also likes to play a fast style of play, but based on the results from the first games that these two teams have played, I have to take the over here. Georgia ended up winning by the score of 91-72 against Western Carolina in their first game at home. It was close early, but then Georgia blew it open in the second half. Western Carolina has a pace of 74.0, which is the 47th best pace in the entire country. So they get up 72 points to that. They scored 91 points, and now they're going up against a team that plays at the second fastest tempo in the entire country. I think Georgia should score at least 100 points. I wouldn't be surprised to see them push 110, as they will definitely dominate on the inside against the Citadel. And just based on pace of play alone, I think this game will go over. At the same point, the Citadel ended up playing against UNC Asheville, and that game ended up at a 91-76 final. Now, in terms of the score itself, that it might not sound that high scoring, but when one factor is in the fact that UNC Asheville plays at one of the slowest paces in the entire country, specifically UNC Asheville plays at a pace of 68.4, which it ranks 337th in the entire country. So since the Citadel gave up 91 points to a team that has the offensive pace of Virginia, give or take, I think Georgia should easily score 118 points or higher. I think that the Citadel should be able to score more than 76 based on the fact that Georgia likes to play up tempo also. This game will be a track meet. 164.5 sounds like a very high total, and in a way it kind of is, but I expect Georgia to do whatever it wants offensively. The Citadel will push the pace. They'll chuck up a bunch of shots, give up a ton of points in transition, and I think Georgia, with its young athletes, will look to do the same, as Georgia will look to get a ton of dunks in transition and three-pointers. So I simply think that you should see a ton of points early on. The Citadel also likes to play a full-court press, which should lead to extra free throws, even some turnovers, which leads to a lot of clock stoppages, which is perfect for the over. I think the Citadel should score at least 70 to 80. I think Georgia should score at least 100. I think this game could easily get into the 200s. If you're looking for any pleasers or teasers, honestly, you should look to this total, as I think that whatever the market has it set at, it's not high enough. This game could get into the 200s, and that would not surprise me. So based on value alone, the play of the day will be on the Georgia and the Citadel over 164, which is available on DraftKings at -108, and that will be the play of the day. Now, in terms of some of the other leans, I was leaning to Miami against UCF on the road. Main reason why is the fact that UCF opened up as a 1-point favorite. Now Miami is a 1.5-point favorite. So you have seen a favorite switching of roughly 2.5 points. Main reason for that, Miami is currently 1-1, but their one loss came against a top 5 team in Louisville. So I'm going to give them a pass on that one. They looked a lot better against Florida Atlantic. Meanwhile, UCF struggled in their only game against Prairie View A&M, and they only won by 4 points. Both teams are absolutely terrible at the foul line, so it's a little bit of a toss-up, but at the same point, I think Miami has the better guard play. I think they have more experience after UCF lost Taco Fall and Dawkins to the NBA. So I think based on that, I think Miami just simply has more veterans back, and I think they will be able to get the job done here. Lean to Miami in that one. Other than that, looking at the rest of the betting card, don't fix what isn't broken. I would lean to Gonzaga again, minus the 29. North Dakota, they're not great by any means. Gonzaga, as I said before, likes to smash teams earlier in the regular season, especially teams that are out of conference. I think Gonzaga should win this game by about 35, give or take. They won the last game by 50, that we ended up having that as play of the day. North Dakota is better than Arkansas Pine Bluff, but at the same point, Gonzaga is still just better than North Dakota by a wide margin, and I think Gonzaga should win that game by about 40. So lean to Gonzaga on that one. Other than that, looking at the rest of the betting card in college basketball, sorry, just looking through this real quick. What do I like? Yeah, as of right now, that's pretty much all I see. I'm looking at some of the other matchups here. Actually, I would lean to Michigan minus the 4.5 against Creighton. I think Creighton's an underrated team, but at the same point, Michigan at home, Juwan Howard's second game, they look pretty good in their season opener. I still think Michigan has more talent than Creighton. I think Michigan will perform well at home as it normally does. And Creighton last year was awful on the road, really good at home. They're a different team in Omaha in comparison to when they're on the road, and I think Creighton will struggle. So I'll lean to Michigan to get the job done there. Fundamentally sound team as a whole. And I know that there might be some growing pains in terms of long-term success with Juwan Howard, as he will need to get his players into the system. But as a whole, Michigan looked pretty sharp in the first game, and I think they will look sharp again at home. So I'll lean to Michigan on that one. But in terms of some of the other sports to give out my leans on, looking at the NBA card today, some of the lines aren't up yet. The Lakers and Phoenix game is not up yet, and the Heat and Pistons game is not up yet. But in terms of what else I like here, lean to Indiana minus 3 against Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's looked okay so far this season. Indiana struggled a bit, but I just think Indiana has a superior roster. Sabonis is a very solid player. Brogdon's a very solid player. I just think that Indiana has too much depth. I think they will be able to handle Oklahoma City, and I think that game will be close for a little while, but I think Indiana will blow it open late. So lean to the Pacers in that one. And other than that, looking at the rest of the betting card, what do I like here? I would lean to Utah minus 6.5. As a Nets fan, the last game they had against the Suns was absolutely terrible, and they ended up giving up 138 points. Utah, they've been hit or miss, but they have been really good at home. I know they ended up playing yesterday as they were able to beat the Golden State Warriors, but at the end of the day, I just don't really think the Nets are that good. It pains me to say it as a fan, but as a whole, this team just lacks a certain brand of physicality with the exception of DeAndre Jordan, and I think Gobert is going to eat up Jared Allen on the inside. Conley's a very fundamentally sound guard, good defender. Can he handle Kyrie? Maybe a little bit. I think he'll slow him down. But I don't think anybody on the Nets can guard Mitchell. I think he'll have a big game, and I think that Utah should be able to take it to the Nets, and I think they will be able to win this game by double digits, so lean to Utah on that one. But the play of the day, once again, will be between Georgia and the Citadel, over 164, which is available at minus 108 on DraftKings, and that will be the play of the day. Other than that, though, that's going to do it for this installment of Scott Selections here for Tuesday, November 12th, and good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.